Hi there, Kalyn here with a Paper Smooches card tutorial. Today I'm going to be doing some gold glitter embossing with that embossing powder I just showed you, and I'm going to be using the Lovely Thoughts stamp set from Paper Smooches. This is a little bit newer and it's just one of my favorites ever since it was released. I keep using it. It's just so much fun and you can do so much with it. So I'm using these stamps on some vellum, and that's where I'm going to do the gold embossing. I just thought it would give it a little bit more of an elegant touch, and this is going to be a wedding or anniversary card. So I really wanted to make it look kind of as elegant as possible. So I'm going to be using the solid images of the rose, and there are two. It's like a two-part stamp. So you get the outer edge and then you get the inner part. So I'm using my Versamark watermark ink to stamp these images down, and then I'm going to put the embossing powder over top. And I always put a piece of scrap paper underneath my work surface just because I know that that embossing powder will eventually get everywhere, so it helps just keep it contained in a piece of scrap paper. So I'm just stamping my stamp in that watermark ink, pressing it down, and then doing the same thing with the inner part of the flower. Now I'm just going to fold up my piece of scrap paper because I know that I'm going to be eventually dumping the excess embossing powder back into the jar, and folding a nice little crease down the middle just helps it slide into the jar much better, as you'll see when I do that here in a minute. Now I'm just going to continue stamping roses along my vellum. I'm going to do another big one and then some smaller ones as well. So you'll just see me stamping these in watermark ink, and then I'm just going to be applying that embossing powder over top. Now that I'm all done stamping and putting the embossing powder over top, I'm taking just a dry paintbrush, and this helps get any little powders that aren't coming off just by shaking your paper, or in this case vellum. And you can use like a really tiny brush to help get little specks across, but the one I used worked pretty well. So now I'm just using my heat gun tool, and I've sped this up a little bit, but it still happens pretty fast. So once that heat tool is kind of heated up, you'll see right now it starts melting that embossing powder and turning into just a gorgeous glittery gold. This is my absolute favorite embossing powder for doing gold touches. It just really looks awesome, especially in person. Sometimes it's hard to capture on camera how glittery it is, but it's really beautiful. So now that I have that all embossed on that piece of vellum, I'm going to start adding the layers into the card. So I'm using the Always and Forever die set from Paper Smooches, and I cut out the word forever in some white cardstock, and that's going to be really my sentiment for this. Like I said, it could work perfectly for a wedding, but would also be a good anniversary card too. And now I'm using some washi tape from Little Bee, and these are these really cute little gold hearts, and then there's another gold floral pattern that I picked out. And these tapes were actually kind of the inspiration behind this card. I saw them at my local craft store and just had to pick them up because I only have actually one roll of gold washi tape, so that just clearly wasn't enough. I needed to get some more, and I just really loved these patterns. So I'm just kind of layering up these tapes in a little bit of a whimsical way, and then playing around with how I'm going to arrange that forever die cut on here. I decided to add some metal accents, and these are from My Mind's Eye. You get some gold, some bronze, and some silver stars, hearts, and arrows. So I knew I wanted to incorporate one of the gold hearts, and they're actually like a really nice heavy metal embellishment. So they actually look really real. They don't look cheesy at all. So I really like them. So I'm just putting that gold heart right around there, and then I'm taking some embellishments from the Notes and Things collection from Crepe Paper, and they had this really pretty vellum and gold little label die cut. So I thought that'd be the perfect base to put the forever sentiment on. I just thought it needed to be grounded a little bit. So I put that on there, and then I also found the little number 2 die cut, which I thought would be perfect for this card as well, since, like I said, it's going to be wedding or anniversary. So I just punched out the little hole that's in the top of it. I guess it would be like a little tag or something. So I punched that out and then just cleaned up the edges with my scissors and then arranged the elements how I liked them. Now I'm just adhering everything down using my Tombow Mono Multi Glue, same glue that I always use. And I actually use this glue to adhere down the die cut forever word, as you can see here. And even though it's really thin, and I have used things like my Xyron sticker maker before, I find that this Tombow, it has like a really narrow little tip, so it's actually perfect for doing precise gluing like this, and I've really never had a problem with it. It's a little tedious, I guess, but I really find that it just works the best and the image always stays stuck down. So then I'm using some glue dots to adhere that vellum die cut. That way you don't see them as much, and I know that they'll stick, so I put them kind of overlapped where I knew the cardstock die cut would be, so that you really don't see the glue dots showing through at all. Then I wanted to add something extra, so I got these SEI gold glitter enamel dots and put some glue dots on the back of them and sprinkled them around the card. So I think I just added a couple just to add a little more texture and whimsy to the card. So that finishes up today's card. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and be sure to check out Paper Smooches for the stamps and dies that I use, and subscribe to my channel if you want to keep up with my latest crafty videos.